enemy have persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction and shall tread upon his neck.
That's it. The enemies have persecuted us, but we're going to tread upon his neck.
We're going to treat our enemies like they treat
The
George
elites and these
Floyd.
people talking shit and scoffing as well. Would you grab me? Revelations 15, stay where you are as well with that. Revelations 15, I think you know what it is, in 16.
Yep.
On the firmament. We shall see his destruction. We're going to see the destruction upon our enemies. Okay. Everyone that's scoffing, murmuring, okay, thinking we ain't shit. No, you ain't shit. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to see that destruction. Here it is, we're out here, aches and pains, hot summer, winter and all that, and people want to talk shit. Oh man, telling you, man.
Salakia, you said Revelation, how does it go?
Revelations 15, yes. Top
Sea of glass.
15, yeah.
Right, Revelation 15 verse 1.
Ooh.
And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, seven angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High.
Okay, so that was those that had the victory over the beast. You want to say something, Mario?
No, just Mark's coming. He just text me back. He's on his way.
Good stuff.
Standing on the sea of glass. What's that sea of glass? The firmament, the outer atmosphere. Looking at destruction. And what was that fire? It says mingled. They were looking at that fire. America getting burned up. Our enemies getting burnt up. And it said those that had victory over the beast. Okay, so they're going to have victory over this wicked system. Okay, some of them are going to have to be beheaded, but that's their lot.
Seems like Amawans in this way as well.
Okay. Anything else?
Have you got one? Anybody? I'll go precept, yeah?
Because I was checking the text. I missed what was being said. Go on.
Psalms 137 and 7 says, Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation of thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall ye be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth the little ones against the stone, man. Yeah, because if we're not happy, bro, right now we're not. We got little glimpses here and there, but the Most High said it there twice, man. You know. He knows what makes us happy, and he knows how we're going to feel when we actually, because it's going to be symbolic of us being in positions of authority and power, man, reigning.
May I add to that as well? There's a saying in the world, like if someone does you dirty, you say, you know what, man, I'm going to get my pound of flesh back. We're going to get that pound of flesh back against Esau, because Esau done that to our children. You know, he would take the women and they cut open their bellies, take the children out and dash their head against the stone. They feed our children to alligators, call them alligator bait. Esau's got a lot to pay for, man.
That's right. Yep. You just have to be patient. Remember,
the patience and the faith of the saints.
Yeah.
Thessalonians. Some in Thessalonians, it's a righteous thing to recompense them.
Evil to them.
Trouble thee.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to happen.
1 Thessalonians 6 and 1 and 6.
Those that trouble thee, us, they're going to be troubled.
Yeah, you might check it. Yeah.
Just looking for it.
Where was I going to go? Oh, sorry. Yep, it's only right, and that's what justice, to do to your enemies, what they done to you, is justice. And if you don't want that because you have a slave mentality.
Yep, and you've been brought up that way by the Christian church and the public food system. They've done a 2-hit combo to make you soft and effeminate and like, oh, I have to love all my enemies. It's wrong to hate people. It's wrong to think I have enemies. They've turned men into
betas.
Yeah, betas is a great way to say it. 2 Thessalonians 1 and verse 6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
So it's righteous. It's not wicked. It's righteous thing to recompense those that trouble you. Recompense to pay back.
Yep.
Those that trouble us. The nation of Israel, beginning with the elect. They're the ones that are going to be avenged first. That's it on that.
Yeah, Salakia, just to speak on something, it reminds me of that court case that happened, was it last year or the year before? I think it was the year before, with that Amber Geiger woman who shot up the Jake in his own house. And the brother was saying, I love you, I don't want anything bad for you, all this kind of shit. I mean, that was sickening to watch, man.
Yeah. And that's being oppressed, man, because in the Christian church they say return from evil to nobody, right? While they're stepping, they got they got you in a neck hole. They got return evil to evil. So that's oppressive, and you know it is. And I've been under that yoke. But when you learn that it's righteous to get back vengeance, man, and before I was in Christianity, right, street justice, even though it's on the left-hand side, there is a certain amount of pleasure that you do get when even though it's left-hand business and we're waiting on your shot to come back. Now it'd be no better, but there's pleasure in getting your lick back. You know.
Anybody who says there isn't is lying.
Right. Because anybody wants to. It's like example. Someone kicks you out of your house, okay, and then you get back in that house. That person can't look at you and say, well, why are you getting back in your house? You kill them to get back in your house. You can't say that. Like you start beating someone with a whip, and they turn around, take that whip off you, and you beat them. You can't say you're oppressing me. Well, you were beating me with that whip.
That's funny you say that, because a lot of Jake who come up to the camp sometimes, when we talk about we're going to have the other nations in slavery, they're like, no, that's wrong. How is it wrong to have our oppressors in oppression? It's a balance. But they don't, slavery's wrong, we shouldn't do that, we should love everybody. That's why Esau pushes this equality thing, because he knows that really we are the superior people, so he has to push, okay, everyone's equal now, so therefore, when we come out and say we are superior, now it's hate speech.
Right, now it's a hate speech. Because that's how Esau is.
It's just the truth.
Yeah.
We're just better than you, Esau. Get over it.
Right.
And that isn't pride, it's just the way it is. It's like saying, a dog can bark louder than a cat can't bark.
Right.
You know what I mean? Is it wrong to say that the dog has a louder voice? No, it's just reality, man.
Grab me Psalms 2 and 8, Baba Kashar. Because it's justice. This is a part of justice, and this is what we want. A man Lord's going to want this, revenge on his enemies.
Oh, that's a beautiful precept you got here. Psalms 2 verse 8. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance.
So you got ask of who? Yahweh Shai. And I shall give the heathen for thy inheritance. That's a prayer. So you pray, making supplication, Baba Kashar, Lord willing, in that time, please give me, I want to destroy my enemies.
Yeah,
you know?
I've been praying for one old manager who I had, actually a couple of old managers who I've had on some jobs. That I get them in the kingdom, man, and show them what time it is.
Man, and you know what it says, for that inheritance. So inheritance is a possession. So we're going to possess the heathen for an inheritance.
Yeah.
A possession, because the people are a possession. Because out of people, what do you have? Slaves. Out of slaves, you have a whole economy through slaves. And that's how Esau is able to build up his economy, because we're slaves.
Yep.
We're going to have the same. There's more.
Okay, so it says, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession.
That's right. So even we're going to have the earth in our possession as well. The uttermost earth. Different parts, not just one. The whole earth.
Oh, yeah.
It's meant for our rulership. Verse 9 as well.
Yep, verse 9. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel.
Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. What's that rod of iron? Scepters. We're going to have a scepter iron. It's going to be decorated as well. And we're going to bash them over the head with it. Okay? And thou shalt dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel. In other words, pottery, glass, smash. In Cyprus, in Greece, they have a culture where they smash glass. That's what we're going to do with these other nations.
May I bring out Psalms
149? Yeah, is it in alliance with what I'm reading?
Yep, Psalms 149.
Oh yeah, I had that as well. Yeah, I had that as well.
Alright, it says Psalms, did you finish there? Yeah. Right, Psalms 149 from verse 1. Praise ye Yahweh, sing unto the Lord Yahweh a new song, and his praise in the congregation of saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and with the harp. For Yahweh taketh pleasure in his people, and he will beautify the meek with salvation.
Right, so we're going to be joyful. We're going to be praising you. We're going to be singing a song of Moses. And that song of Moses is actually in Psalm somewhere. I can't find it. But that's what we're going to be singing. Unto Yahushua continually. Praising his name for the wonderful, marvelous things he's done for us.
That's right.
And for our deliverance. Okay?
Yep. Reading on, it says, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the praises of the Most High be in their mouths and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people.
So it lets us know. What's that sword for? To execute vengeance upon the heathen for judgment. Right now we can't do that. A king does that. A ruler does that. He has the power to execute that judgment. Right now we don't have the power to do that because we're still in the hands of our captors. Okay?
Yeah.
But we're going to have the opportunity to do that very soon.
That's right. And it says to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgments written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh.
To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. Who are the nobles? The elites. They're the nobles of this world, of this kingdom, of Esau, Edom, Amalek, the Rothschilds. And we're going to bind them. Okay, would you grab me Revelations 12 and 5, Baba Kusha?
Yep, come.
We're going to bind them up. Okay, and it also tells us that in somewhere in Isaiah 24, it talks about those that are going to be dwelling in a pit. So they're going to be chucked in a pit. As soon as that smoke, well, I was going to say smoke, smoke ain't going to clear for a long time. America's going to be on fire for a long, long, long time. Okay, but we're going to take them out. Okay, of them little caves they're hiding in. Okay, and what? They're going to be gathered up and they're going to go into captivity for 1,000 years.
That's right. So,
Oh, you got it?
Yep, reading Revelation 12 from verse 5, right?
Yep, that's it.
And it says, and she brought forth a man-child. Is that right?
Ah, shit.
It's okay, take your time, it's all right.
Why is I've got slacker. I've got it Revelations 12 and 5. It doesn't say nothing about beating potters, beating with a rod of iron.
It says, and she brought forth a man-child to all nations. with
Yeah,
rod
I
of
shouldn't
iron.
have written that here. See, that happens. I must have been tired when I read that.
No
Would you
worries.
grab me Revelations 3 and 20.
Can't, I've done that before when I'm doing videos. Write down the scripture.
a few
and
times
stuff.
I've done that.
Revelation chapter 3 from verse 20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock.
Nah, that's not it.
How does it go?
With a rod, he that endureth to the
Oh,
end,
that's Revelation 2.
a rod,
2:25.
yeah, you shall rule them with a rod of iron.
Okay, I gotcha. Revelation 2 verse 25. But that which ye have already hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power
Yes.
over the nations.
That's it.
And he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
That's it.
And as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father.
Right, so we are going to rule them. He that endureth, what, we going to rule our enemies with a rod of iron. This is the same precept that was written in Psalms, we just read in Psalms 2 and 8.
Yep.
And shall break them like a potter's vessel. That
Ooh.
Greek pottery, that's Greek fashion, Cypriot fashion. They celebrations, they break plates.
Yeah.
That's how we going to break these nations.
Cyprus.
Okay?
May I just speak on that point as well? Because for some of you people, like you Christians who say you only deal with the New Testament, the brother just proved that that verse in Revelation was back in Psalms 2. So Yahushua is quoting the Old Testament. So you can't do away with the Old Testament and say, oh, but like when you talk about the vengeance, a lot of Christians have to say, oh, but that was the Old Testament. God is changed now. He's all mercy, he's all love. No, the Lord is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He changes not.
Right. Good point. Good point. Well, so we on that. And also grab me Isaiah. We're gonna stay on topic. Isaiah
Mercy.
14.
Faith.
You know, we were still on that topic. Yeah, Isaiah 14. Then we go into faith. That we shall bring all nations, I think, to the mountain. I think it's Isaiah 14 and 2.
Alright, Isaiah 14 from verse 1. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and he will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave unto the house of Jacob.
So when it says, I will set them in their own land, and strangers shall cleave unto them, who are them strangers? Because the individual will read this and say, strangers. other nations.
No.
No,
Israelite
strangers.
foreigners.
Right, because when you look at that word strangers, it goes into Ga, which goes into Ga, who was Moses, I think, stepfather, father-in-law, Gershom.
Yep.
Ga, because what? He was a stranger in the land. So that
Jeff
word
Ross.
for Ga
Now hang on.
is alien.
Didn't Moses call his son Gershom?
One of them is the son.
Yeah,
It's
my
the
son, yeah, because
His son was called Gershom because he was born in another land.
Okay,
Yeah.
that explains it. So like, Tawada for that correction.
That's alright.
Yeah.
His father-in-law was Jethro.
that's right, Jeffrey.
Right. Tawada for that. That's why that word Ga means alien, foreigner, from the commonwealth. So the stranger is talking about are those that were what? Separated from the commonwealth of Israel.
Yeah.
Because you had Jews in Jerusalem looking down upon what? Israelite foreigners.
Yeah, that's why they got offended when Paul was going to them.
Yep. Bring it out.
Yep, so continuing on, it says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids.
Okay, so when you're reading this scripture, you can't equate this with what we're just reading, the strangers. No, the strangers were going to cleave unto the house of Israel. The strangers were Israelites. That's why they can cleave unto the house of Israel. But when the bit he's reading now, when he's saying we should take them as handmaids and servants, that's the other nations.
That's right.
That's not speaking about the strangers. Okay, just to clear that up. Okay, because some people read it and say, strangers, see, the other nations can be saved. No. Oh, the only strangers were the ones that were already within the nation.
Yeah. So, salvation is
think
only
there's
for
a
the
bit
elect. Yeah. Salvation is only for Israel.
Right.
So it says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
So it says, we shall take them captives, whose captives they were. So that proves who's ruling right now? Esau. Whose captives they were. So we're still captives to this wicked man.
Yeah.
Even though we're not captive in the mind, because John 8:32, you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free.
That's a good one. Nice
Okay,
link.
so we're made free through this word. Okay, we're no longer in bondage mentally, maybe physically.
No, maybe we are.
Yeah, you know what, it's
Physically.
like, yeah, physically.
We freed our minds like
Right,
Matrix.
right. So that's where we're strong spiritually. We're not being tied down by any of these religions, philosophies of the world, so we're free.
Yeah. Alright, so reading on, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. It says, thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city hath ceased. Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers.
How is that golden city seized? What's that golden city? Babylon, America, and that whore with the golden cup.
Yep.
That oppress what the nations? Because what America's oppressing all the nations. Okay, every single nation America is oppressing. So how is that golden city seized? Which is one what become great. Okay.
It says, verse 6, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth.
Okay, so it's letting us know he that ruled and persecuted the nations and ruled them in anger. This is letting us know who's doing what. Esau's doing that. Putting sanctions on different nations, China, Beijing, Russia.
Threatening them by the force of the sword.
Yeah, so they're persecuting nations. This is what they're doing. Anything else?
Yeah, it says the whole earth is at rest and is quiet, and they break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come upon us.
So even the trees are going to rejoice. The fir trees, it says, since that are laid down, no fella has come among us. What does fella mean? Tree lumberjack. So nobody going to be chopping down trees, because Esau just does that for fun.
Yep.
And when you get oxygen, okay, from the trees, this is what Esau's doing. Chopping down the trees, okay? All these different things he's doing, because he's against nature. He's against the natural way of things. He's against the natural order of things.
That's why he's the adversary.
Right, that's why he's Satan, the adversary. He's against nature. Psalms, would you grab me Psalms 50 and Psalm 16, Baba Kashar? Why take my laws in thy mouth? Okay? Since thou hatest instruction, Shalom. Since thou hatest instruction. This man, he does everything opposite of the scriptures. Okay? Psalms 50, I think it's 16.
50:16.
Right.
Okay.
And if you got anything else, just...
Yeah. Psalms 50 verse 16. Yeah. But unto the wicked the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou should takest my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction, and casteth my words behind thee.
So who are the wicked? Esau, Edom. Why do you to declare my statutes, seest thou hatest instruction? Esau hates instruction. Going back to Cain, would you grab me Genesis 4 and 13, I think it is.
Yeah, gotcha.
This man, he doesn't like instruction. What's that instruction? The laws. Esau does everything against the laws, contrary.
This is Genesis chapter 4 from verse 3. And in the process of time it came to pass, Cain brought forth the fruit of the ground as an offering unto Yahweh. And Abel, he also brought the firstlings of his flock and the fat thereof. And Yahweh had respect unto Abel and unto his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect.
So again, Yahweh, he had what? Respect unto whose offering? Abel's. Respect, meaning he looked back. Respect from eyes. But to whose? Cain's, he didn't have any respect. He never looked back on it. He never regarded it.
You know, if I may say something, this is madness, man. This is absolute madness. When you think that all of this hell that's going on, a lot of it came from the fact that Cain couldn't take a rebuke. You know, a man's offering fruit as a sacrifice. He gets told he's doing wrong, and then he goes and murders his brother. I mean, it just doesn't make... These Edomites, man.
Because he's rebellious. Okay, he loves the spirit of Cain.
Why would you do that? You know, just take the rebuke, man. But it says, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. You're standing there. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And Yahweh said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? Why is thy countenance fallen?
Why is thou wroth? So that's what was said unto Cain. Why are you wroth? Why are you angry? Why is your countenance fallen? And there's more.
Yeah, and he says, if thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him.
So if he would have just done the right thing, he would have been accepted. By what? His offering would have been accepted. But if he didn't, sin lieth at the door. Ready to what? Control you. So Esau, he's that man of sin. And sin is controlling him. That's why he can't do right. But now would you go back to Psalms 50 and 16?
Yeah. Reading back in Psalms 50 and 16, it says, but unto the wicked the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou should takest my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction, and casteth my words behind thee.
And that's exactly what he done. We just read that.
Shall I read on?
Yep.
And it says, seeing thou hatest instruction, and casteth my words behind thee, when thou sawest the thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been a partaker with adulterers.
That's right, because Esau's with that. He promotes that.
Yeah. Thou givest thy mouth to do evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son.
This is what Esau does. He sits and speaks against his brother Jacob.
Yeah.
So Esau is the ultimate slanderer. What does slanderer mean? Devil.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I didn't know that.
So again, you can equate this, and you can equate this to our own people. They're the devil. That's why, what did Yahushua say in John 8:44? Ye are of the devil, and the lust of your father will ye do. He was a murderer.
From the beginning.
Going back to Cain. Why? Because Cain's offering was not acceptable. So it's the same in this truth. If your offering ain't acceptable, you're going to be seeking to slay your brother. That's why, again, you have to be diligent for the truth.
These things hast thou done, and I kept silence.
That's it on that. That's it on that.
Okay.
Grab me Job 17, and I'm going to hand it over to you because I need to sit down because this guy is playing up. Job 18 and 11, and I'll hand it to you.
Job 18 verse 11. Terrors shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. Is that right?
Yep, this is it. And shall drive him to his feet. So terrors are going to make Esau afraid on every side. Going back to Revelation 17 and 16.
Yep.
All these nations are going to turn what? Shoot their missiles against the whore.
Not only that, but the chariots are going to make him afraid on every side as well.
Okay. And verse 12, would you go all the way to verse 17, 12 to 17?
Right, so verse 12 to 17. His strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side. It shall devour the strength of his skin, even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength.
Okay, it shall devour the strength of his skin. Even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. Who's the firstborn of death? Yahushua. He's going to devour his strength, Esau's strength. There's more on that.
Yep. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle. It shall bring him to the king of terrors.
Confidence, mibtak in the Hebrew, wealth, his security. It's going to be rooted out, his system. And his tabernacle is his house. And it shall bring him to the king of terrors.
The Most High.
That's right, he was Yahushua. Okay, there's more.
It shall dwell in his tabernacle, because it is none of his. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation.
And that's their missiles, fire and brimstone. A little bit more.
His roots shall be dried up beneath, and above shall his branch be cut off.
So his roots shall be dried up from beneath. So his system, his firmness, is going to be no revival. When you dry up a root from beneath, it can't grow again. So this man's system is going to be done away with.
His remembrance shall perish from the earth. He shall have no more name in the street.
His remembrance shall perish from the earth. He shall have no more name in the street. No more. That's
more
Esau
reputation.
done. Good riddance. I'm done with speaking. I hope
Riddance.
I edified you. I'll pass it on to Amawan. Let Amawan take over.
We get on Esau, yeah?
Anything. You just leave it to you. I leave it to you.
Let's go on Esau.
Right, there's a bit more then. It says, he shall be driven from light into darkness, and chased out of the world. He shall neither have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings.
Yeah, man, because it goes into that in the book of Obadiah, man. This man's time is short, right? So there's going to come a time where Esau's going to have to go into captivity.
Yeah.
He's going to have to go into captivity, and he's going to have to serve us, man. Why? Because we've served him for long enough. Funny enough, I was watching a little video today, and it was talking about the reparations, man. You know, how we worked. You know, we worked for Esau, blood, sweat and tears, man. Mm-hmm. You know, deaths, you know, torture, rapes, you know. And this man is not, you know when you know you owe someone something.
Yeah.
Right? You have that feeling
Of guilt.
you know, of guilt that you have to repay that, man. But this man doesn't have that. You know what I mean? He's on another level of wickedness, man. He doesn't have that level of guilt, man.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, us men of the law, we don't want his reparations, man. But it's not wrong to ask for that. You're supposed to pay what you owe, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Just gonna get one for you.
I mean, these are you know, they pay off the other nations. They paid off the Japanese for Pearl Harbor. They paid off them rats over there in Jerusalem for World War II, you know, the so-called Holocaust.
Yeah.
You know.
Got a precept for you. This is Joel 3 and verse 4. Yea, what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, I will return your recompense upon your own head.
Yeah, man. That's the Lord saying basically they're gonna get dealt with, man, because they owe. Like I was going into, and Tyre Sidon, that represents the dwellings of the Edomites, man. You know.
Gonna want to read more on that?
There's more.
Yeah. I was gonna get Obadiah as well. It says, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly and pleasant things.
Yeah, man, the goodly and pleasant things, man. They've taken the Lord's firstborn, man. They've taken the Lord's firstborn, man, the apple of his eye, man. You know? And there's a price to pay for that, man. What's the scripture?
Yeah, I'll just read on a bit. It says, the children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye may remove them far from their border.
Yeah, man. Because with them, they're the modern day Grecians now. This is what we call the neo Greco-Roman Empire, man. Everything about this empire, you can, the scriptures say, man, there's no new thing under the sun, man. We're dealing with the same devil, the same governmental structure on this earth, man. It's the same wicked rulership, man.
Yeah. It says, behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah.
All right, hear that? So this is what this devil's afraid of already, man. In his spirit, he doesn't even understand why, man. But he's afraid of this already, man.
Yep.
They got this, I don't know if any of you brothers know the name of it, but they're trying to teach this thing in the schools in America. Basically trying to teach them the truth of, slavery and whatever. And all these devils are afraid for this truth to be taught to their children. They want to, because they're changing the
they want to change up the curriculum.
They want to change up the curriculum. So now they're teaching them that the slave owners were kind to the slaves and all this madness, man.
Yeah. Right? Whitewashing history.
Whitewashing the history, man. Right? And not only whitewashing the history, but that's wickedness, man. It's like everybody knows what you've done, and you think you're that slick and that powerful that you can just change the narrative like that and just change history before our very eyes.
That's an interesting point, if I may add to that. It's just like when we was at school and they used to teach us that, Christopher Columbus found the Americas. He just found it. But yet there's already people there. How can you find the land if there's already people dwelling there? And in the school they painted Columbus as some kind of national hero for discovering America. And they actually taught that as if it was truth. And I'm sitting there thinking, hang on a minute, but there were people already there, how can you discover it? Just like with this revisionist slave history, any person with any cognitive faculties will look at that and think, hang on a minute, why would these people choose to be slaves?
Voluntary servants.
Why would you choose to do that?
Yeah, that's the word, yeah.
And that's another good point.
Yeah.
Because they act as if they had us in they went and took us on the ships, brought us over to wherever they took us, we will know where. And, we were just cool with that. Our people never tried to get out of it.
Yeah.
That's what they try and teach you, that, man. And that keeps our people, scriptures talk about the lack of knowledge our people have, man. And it keeps our people dumbed down. And that is why any normal people would have risen up and slaughtered them devils by now.
Yeah.
All right? The only reason they haven't, because this is the program of the Lord, man.
That's right. And it's on the Lord's time that we'll be delivered.
It's on the Lord's time, man.
Caleb,
Yep.
grab Deuteronomy 28 and 68.
Can't.
You can read from there on.
Yeah?
You want to bring it out?
Yeah.
Bring it out, yeah.
Hey, Tawada.
You're on the sideline, but you're still in the game.
Yeah, hey, Tawada, man.
Yeah, because this had generational effects on us and as a people. That damage.
That's a good
That's
point.
right.
And that's why in the national curriculum, they're not going to teach you about all the slave revolts and all the times we rose up. They're not going to talk about that because they don't want you to have that kind of, revolutionist mindset. Even if we did rise up, we wouldn't succeed anyway because, as the brother said, it's Yahweh by Shimon HaShai's will. But the fact of the matter is that they try and keep us pacified and subservient unto them. You got your precept?
I've got something. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And the Lord Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai, shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Slack it up, yeah. Yeah, man, because that itself proves that them same people living over there in Jerusalem, that ain't them, man. That is specifically there to prove to us today who the children of Israel.
That's
It
right.
says it's for us, these curses for a sign and for a wonder, man.